My name's Tom Stroud. I'm with Dittmeyer, Ward and Stroud. We've been building masonry heaters for about 13 years now. Bruce is going to go ahead and probably run. You know, you can work with him, and we'll just go ahead and start setting the pieces up.
Okay. When you get your Envirotech, it'll be in 2 crates like you see over here. There are 145 pieces typically shipped with the Envirotech, as you see here. And you get an inventory list. It's a checkoff list, we call it. Now what we did just probably before most of you got here was we went through our list and set up the different piles. We put them in 10 piles, which is course 1 through course 8, the firebox liner, the lid of the stove, and the adapter piece. This way, as we uncrate it and bring it in, we put it in the pile. Now it's ready to go as far as for building purposes. It just makes it a lot easier. A lot of times we also will take and number with a pencil or a grease pencil or a magic marker on top of the piece to make it easier to see later. The pieces are numbered on the sides. They're stenciled in the side. We couldn't get it on top, so they're side stenciled. What we do typically, after we bring all the pieces in, get them all in, we know everything's on here, we've got everything checked off, then we're ready to build. We build a base of the unit. Now we're presuming you're at floor level where you want to start your firebox, okay? We usually bring up 3 courses of brick, which takes you up just under 9 inches, and then put a big mud bed down in and fill it with block, and then take about a 1/4 inch skim coat of mud to make a nice level base. Thing you got to do is make sure your base is nice and level both ways. That's real important. It makes it so much easier to put this thing up. And I think with that we'll start putting it together. What we've done here is we've drawn out on the base here a 59.5 by 23.5 inch diagram. That's what our fire brick is normally built to. So that's what we're going to be starting with and pretending this is our fire brick base. A lot of times you'll have a situation where you're going to have a wall here or a wood box here or something where you really can't have your clean out on the end. So you can take it and interchange it with a piece number 2 like this, turn it and put it on the back. Oh. It's fine. It's all right. It's available to go that way too. The drawing shows it on the end. The thing that we tried to do with this unit is make it as versatile and as flexible with all the different situations that will arise in a typical installation, because never is it just how you need it. It never happens that way. So what we tried to do is give you the availability to switch it around and have it still work. So the cleanouts can go on the front, they can go on the back, they can go on this one, it can go on the end, depending on what you need.
So basically what you're saying is those 3 pieces are interchangeable.
These 3 are interchangeable.
I didn't know that. I'll learn something every time we do one of these. The unit is put together with fire clay, silica sand mixed. You'll get a box of fire clay or a bag of fire clay with the unit. You mix it 50-50 with silica sand. The silica sand you want about 30 grit?
No, 70.
You want it 70 grit. Excuse me. You want 70 grit on the silica sand. And mix it 50-50 so it's really what you would call a trowelable consistency. It should be, I don't want to say soupy, but it should be pretty loose because you don't want big, fat, thick joints. You want tight joints. Now the piece he just put in is under the door opening. That piece number 43 goes underneath the door opening there.
So you spread the mix on the tongue and groove part or just on the butt ends?
The question is, do you spread it on just the tongue and groove part or the butt ends? You spread it on both. Now, Bruce, is this course buttered to the fire brick?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're buttering every place where it's joining anything, just like you would with a brick.
The joints are going to be depending on which course you're on, there'll be approximately an 1/8 to a 16th joint. They'll vary a little bit in size, but not much. We check the measurements each course when we do them. We'll lay it up, and then we'll just double check everything to make sure we're right. Now you might, when you're plumbing, you might find this edge is a little bit off because of the way they're cast. They're cast with them standing up on end, and sometimes they dry and they'll get a little bit of a dip to it. So put an average plumb on this side. Don't worry if it's a little bit off on your first one or two. Just keep it at your average plumb, and you'll be fine. Okay, so this is course 1 here. This now, you see the firebox area is going to be here. This is going to be where the first 2 flues start, in here. And wherever, like Tom said, wherever you set your firebox, your chimney is going to exit on that side. So this is what we've already determined now. Now, if you want to put the door on this side, just exchange these 2 pieces here, and the door's on this side. So the door can be front or back, right or left. Okay, we'll stack course 2 now. And now you see how they interlock. They're all tongue and groove, so they'll cross-lock. The clay doesn't hold it together. The clay just seals the joints. That's all it's doing. That's why we use a heat-setting clay, like the liquid that we use. It doesn't have to hold it together. It just has to seal the joints. No, you can do it however you want. I like to do it all different ways.
Ron's question was, do you have to start from one way and work through the unit? You don't have to do it. Sometimes it's a little easier to keep track of things if you do that.
So you're not always having to do a closure.
Right.
On this course,
one of the things that we also recommend is to use a rubber mallet to set your pieces. Get it all clayed in, tap it down in place, because you don't want your joints too thick. You want your joints as thin as they can be and still fill your space in. But now here, this piece he's setting right here, in German, there's no American word for it. It's called a Hängewange. I guess about the closest you'd come is it's a hanging wall. But that is where the flames will travel out of the firebox, down underneath that wall, and back up again.